This is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 FM and iTalk1067.com. Also brought to you in part by Northland Pioneer College, Ace Hardware of the White Mountains, Deemer's Glass, Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint, Comfort Fit Dentures, Summit Regional Medical Center, Horn Auto Center, and Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. And now, Sholo Ford presents high school basketball on iTalk 106.7 and worldwide on iTalk1067.com.
A very good afternoon to you folks. This is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com as we just had our Northland Pioneer College tip-off of this, a loser's bracket game to determine who's going to play for third place. The designated visiting team on the scoreboard, the Joe City Wildcats, are taking on the team designated home team of the afternoon, the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, as both these teams, as far as we know, seem evenly matched. And that's going to be our Ace Hardware keys to the games. Both these teams are evenly matched and looking for a chance to play one more game, give that coach one more chance to look in preseason, as Blue Ridge is going to toss it into a turnover that's going to be gathered in by Neal. And as far as we know, we got our Summit Healthcare injury report, and as far as we know, folks, there's really no injuries for either team. I do see one girl from Joe City in a boot, but I think that happened way before the season. And we're going to have our Comfort Fit Dentures three-pointers as well as our Mountain Mobile Auto Glass free throws. We're going to have our Horn Auto Center drives of the half, along with our Honda Ski and Outdoor halftime and post-game show, and our Ace Hardware keys of the game. Anytime you need a key made day or night, Ace Hardware of the White Mountains is your place. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Sholo Ford, Ace Hardware, Comfort Fit Dentures, Deemer's Glass, Summit Healthcare, Honda Ski and Outdoor, NPC, Horn Auto, and Mountain Mobile Auto Glass. Without these, that's a long three-pointer put up by Joe City, minute 15 in and no score. That's going to be put up by Samantha Jesmer for the Wildcats. As we'd like to thank our sponsors, and without them, these games are not at all possible, and get to bring you the action live. I'm Aaron Hewish. I'm here at the table. We have Mel in the truck working the production, and these broadcasts are brought to you by so many of our businesses, as well as so many people. I simply get the luxury half the time just to show up and have these things ready for me to get to bring you these basketball games, and what a pleasure it's been here in this tournament to watch some of these teams and bring you some of these games. As my cohort in crime is on his way to the game, and he's going to sit here, and we're going to try to bring you some of this action as we're we're 2:10 into this game, and we still have no score as we speak.
Actually, that works great. Thank you, Mark. Who's on the cameras today? Lizzie? Who's up top?
And we're going to have Gabrielle Jesmer with our first points of the game, as we're going to have a loose ball and we're going to get a foul whistled by the official. That is going to go against the Joe City Wildcats. That's going to be Amber Neal's first personal, first team, as we're going to get Rayleigh Fish checking in for the Wildcats, as Samantha Jesmer is going to take a break, and it looks like we've got a little bit of an equipment issue on the court, and we're going to have an injury. I mean, it's injury. It looks like we have an injury on the Yellow Jackets, and that's going to cause Anaya Adams to take a seat. She's going to be replaced by Miley Hamblin of the Yellow Jackets. Hamblin working the ball over to Paxson. Joe City up 2-0 very early, as we're going to get a missed shot there by Leilani Hamblin. Hamblin going to be whistled for her personal foul, as well as the first team foul, as Hamlin going to stay back and play some defense as we're going to get a quick substitution. Neal looks like she's okay. She's back in the game. Blue Ridge is going to shift their defense a little bit. Blue Ridge looking like they're going to play a zone defense. As official Mike Hauser is going to whistle the Wildcats with the travel. Not sure who the traveling was, but ball's going to belong to the Yellow Jackets, down 2-0 very early in this basketball game. As we're going to get a drive and we're going to get a foul, another foul on the Wildcats, 32. That's going to be Cambria Miller whistled for her first. That's going to be the second team. As Coach Tenejith for the Yellow Jackets calling over his guard to give her some last-minute instructions, as it looks like I might have had a wrong roster in my book here. Blue Ridge, from what I can tell so far, and it looks like it's going to be a good thing, is they're doing what they can to play some very aggressive defense and shut down these passing lanes of Coach Bushman and his Wildcats. The Yellow Jackets coming to us out of the 3A East, and I'm trying to see, the Joe City Wildcats are in the 1A Copper Division. They're going to participate with some of those southern schools in that realm. I'd like to look them up real quick and see what division they're in. Not division, but conference they're in, and see whom they match up with, as Fish is going to drive to the basket, and she's going to have the ball knocked out of bounds. And what's really impressed me is, even though Blue Ridge is just bring this to a tie game, is their girls are doing everything they can to keep the ball out of the Wildcats' hands. As that's going to bounce around. There's going to be a miss there by Neal, and it's going to bounce around and end up back in the Wildcats' hands. As Neal's going to try to drive again, and it looks like Blue Ridge, being a little aggressive there, is going to get a foul, and it's going to be whistled on number 13, I thought. And of course, Lexi Red, number 13 for the Yellow Jackets. Jesmer back in the game, as her teammate Neal is going to attempt her second free throw. Was off on the mark the first one. Just under halfway through this first quarter in our losers bracket game to determine third place in this tournament. As you got to give the size advantage, not the size advantage, the height advantage a little bit to the Joe City Wildcats, but Blue Ridge, these aggressive guards down underneath, have been causing a little bit of havoc, and even though they've got those 2 points up, it sure hasn't allowed them to do much with the ball. As Blue Ridge is going to bring it in here, that's going to be Paxson. Paxton's going to end up the ball at the top of the key. Blue Ridge looking around. Joe City sitting back in their defense, not going to give them anything in the middle. That's going to be Paxson. Shot, miss. Rebound, Joe City, as Paxton's going to get it back, and she's going to put it up, no good. Put it up again, no good. Gets her own rebound for the second time. It's going to be knocked around, and I think we're going to have ourselves... No! Joe City ends up with it. So, folks, Joe City competes in the Copper Division, which is Deshibico, Fort Thomas, Hayden, Joe City, Mogollon, and Superior. And that is the 1A Copper Division, as a long Mountain Mobile Auto Glass a Comfort Fit Dentures 3-point shot for the Wildcats, as they're going to get a 5-0 lead. As now Blue Ridge and Neal isn't going to take that sitting down, and she's going to add a 3-point shot, and now Blue Ridge is bringing themselves back. So this copper division that they compete in looks like it's pretty competitive as Jasper puts it off and in, and she's going to give the Wildcats a 2-point lead as we're ticking down. Points under as Blue Ridge is going to take a 30-second timeout. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. This is Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Ford has the best deal. Show Low Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at showlowford.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable, always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
Welcome back to Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. As Blue Ridge took a quick 30-second timeout to regroup. Coach Tennant just wanting to converse with the girls as they're going to throw it away, and that's a steal by Jesmer. Jesmer has the ball knocked away, grabs what could be considered a rebound as it's going to be given to Hamblin way ahead. Hamlin's going to have it knocked away, and it's going to end up back in the Wildcats' hands. And boy, the ball is just going around, and we're going to get Mr. Chavez Jr. The official is going to call a jump ball, and that's an alternating possession, and it's going to belong to, I believe, the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. So the ball's going to start and come down as Joe City putting on a bit of a press here, as Coach Bushman telling his girls, let's put a little more pressure on him. As that's going to be a miss by Neal as another loose ball, and these girls aren't afraid to go down and go after that ball.
Hold on.
Another jump ball, alternating possession is going to belong this time to the Wildcats as number 10, Audrey Neal, is going to check in for Ember Neal. And that's the great thing about our area and our small towns is you have siblings and cousins and everybody else playing on the same team, lots of family. Hopefully some of these girls' family are out there supporting them, watching this broadcast, and we remind you, if you do, our sponsors are what make this possible, and so they can bring you these broadcasts so we can support our high school youth and make this happen and support these youth as much as we can, as that's going to be knocked away, gathered. Lots of loose balls, neither team finding a way to secure possession, as that's going to be another turnover for the Yellow Jackets, as it's going to go back and it's going to end up with the Wildcats, and that's Jesmer. Jesmer dribbling down, cutting the lane. And we have a Comfort Fit Dentures 3-point. No, it is off the mark. Rebounded by the Yellow Jackets, and that is Ashlyn Smith with the rebound, getting some playing time here late in the first quarter.
Get big.
Both coaches not afraid to use the substitution to keep their teams fresh. Both these teams actually look like they're pretty up to speed on conditioning at this point in the season and aren't afraid to, quote unquote, get a little bit dirty on that court to secure that ball. 7-5, the Wildcats on top of the Yellow Jackets as the first quarter is going to tick to an end. Paxson dribble with an offshoot, going to be rebounded by her teammate, and that is Lexi Red. And Lexi Red going to put back and going to tie this game. 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Long court pass to Jesmer. Jesmer driving the lane. Jesmer putting it up. No good. Rebound. Smith had it secured off her hands, and that went out to, that was Paxson. And Paxson is going to be fouled by 31 of the Wildcats, and that is Fish. That's going to be the fourth team foul of the quarter. So anything weird happening here, we might get some shots at the end of this quarter. That's going to be intercepted by 21, Jesmer, off the mark, and we're going to end the first quarter with a very physical game, tied 7-7. This is a Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Welcome back to Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. Give me a second while I adjust some technical stuff here.
If you need to sneeze or cough, this is your hear me button. Everything else should be good. So if you need to hear me better, turn that sir.
Welcome back as the Wildcats putting up a quick 2-point shot. I'm Aaron Hewish. I am joined by Reggie Peterson today. Reggie, of course, playing some basketball in his days in Snowflake and now has moved on in his professional career and is teaching and coaching here in Eager, Arizona at Round Valley High School. And I'm joined by him. Grateful for him. How you doing today, Reggie?
I'm doing great. It's a good day for basketball.
It's always a good day for basketball, especially in this dome. It's a good tournament going on. And we're going to bring you, I believe, as we look forward, is we're going to have Jasmer shooting 2 free throws for the Joe City Wildcats. I'm going to try to get a glimpse of the bracket, and I believe the girls' bracket, if I can get my phone to cooperate here. I believe the next game we're going to bring you is actually going to be a boys' consolation championship game, and that's going to be the Joe City Wildcats against the Camp Verde Cowboys, the teams that I really don't know anything about. Have you seen either of those teams, Joe City or Camp Verde?
Last year I saw Joe City play. So last year I was a referee, and
you're always a referee.
Yeah, they beat Hayden when I reffed them for their varsity game, which was a big upset. I don't know how many guys they graduated, but they were pretty good last year.
Well, we got ourselves a pretty good one here early on, but the one thing I'm noticing is neither one of these teams right now between Joe City and Blue Ridge is afraid to be physical. These girls have been diving all over the court. There's not a loose ball they like, as Ashlyn Smith does a great job to take away the ball, and she's going to help her team out by getting an alternating possession jump ball. I did forget to mention at the beginning of this quarter, we have our Northland Pioneer College tip-off, as we're going to check the possession arrow and make sure that we've got everything right for this quarter. Do you know anything about either of these teams?
I do know that Joe City's always very physical. I feel like they use that hustle always and physicality because, they don't have the numbers always, so they find other ways to stay in games. But they do have one player, I think she's on the bench right now, number 24.
That is...
she's a really good ball handler.
No.
She's pretty tall. And
I don't have a 24 for Joe City.
Maybe it's not 24.
She might be. There's one player in a boot I've been seeing.
Maybe
hers.
that's what it was.
We're going to get a long court pass, and again, these teams, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a long game, but it might be a little more because we're having a lot of stoppage for different things here.
Yeah, I've also refereed for Blue Ridge last year, and Miley Hamblin.
Yeah, that's number 0.
She's a really good ball handler as well. So she's really fun to watch, and I think she's only a sophomore.
Wow, so she was a freshman last year when you saw her.
Yeah, so I was reffing the freshman and JV games last year.
And that's Jesmer. Gabrielle Jesmer is going to check in for the Wildcats as we get another dead ball on a foul, and that's going to be whistled on Hamblin. More importantly, that's going to be the second team foul. And we've talked, Reggie, as especially you, did you start out the year officiating? Have you done a few games this year?
Yes, I have.
So one of the things that is kind of been a topic that we've talked about here is this 5 fouls per quarter instead of the old 1-and-1. I understand the officials seem to like it because they claim it speeds up the game, and there's a long court pass, and that is going to be another turnover for the Yellow Jackets. Oh no, it's going to be tipped out and it's going to belong to them. Rather than go through this 17 fouls, we're going to shoot the 1-and-1, and then at 10 we're going to shoot the 2. You're now getting 2 shots rewarded after 5 fouls, and the officials are saying it's speeding up the games. What are your thoughts on it?
I think eventually it'll get to that, but I think especially for the beginning of the season, there's a lot of rough basketball going on. People are getting in the groove of playing basketball, so there's a lot of fouls, especially at the beginning of the season, and that's what this tournament. I really like this tournament because it's so far in the beginning of the season. People get a lot of basketball at the very beginning of the season, so by the end of the season, by the end of this tournament, they're in good shape and knowledge of what to do and what not to do on the court.
I think that's absolutely is. We're just going to kind of turn over the action to you guys while Mr. Peterson and I talk a little bit about this tournament situation. And one of the things I like about these tournaments, and you've actually coached before, we're going to have us buckets. That's going to bring us to a tie. Is these preseason tournaments, you can tell a lot of these coaches, especially the teams that are playing these championship brackets, they're not afraid to make some substitutions. And my opinion is they're trying to see what their chemistry is. And they're saying, okay.
Well, that was good chemistry right there.
Yeah, that was great
pass.
chemistry. They're trying to see, okay, this is my situation. This is who I can put in. This is who I can put in with this group. And I think that's why these tournaments are fantastic. The atmosphere here is incredible. You've got 3 courts going. This is my actually first time at this tournament. The first thing I notice here is that, we're going to get us a timeout. We're going to take a minute as well. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you: Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
Welcome back to Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com as Mr. Chavez Jr., the official, came over to give his condolences to Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson, Reggie over here, unfortunately suffered an Achilles tear. He and Aaron Rodgers are in the same boat, and he's going to miss it.
The only way I can be compared to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you know what? I've never met Aaron Rodgers, but I'm telling you, if I had to go on a plane ride and a long trip, I'd definitely choose Reggie Peterson, that's for sure. As Joe City doing a great job working the ball, and that's going to be number 21, Mackenzie Jesmer, putting the ball up. And back to the conversation we were having,
steal.
Reggie. Great steal, as it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to belong to they're saying it went out of Jesmer's knee, and it's going to belong to the Yellow Jackets. My thing is I understand the 5 fouls, and like you said, rough basketball, and you're using this tournament, and you're using it to find your chemistry. And back to the thing about the 1-and-1 is I kind of like the 1-and-1 because I felt like you earned your fouls. I do understand it does maybe slow down the game a little, but I think this 2 foul is here to stay, and it's just something that is going to make the strategy a little bit different because we have an injury on the court. As we're going to have an injury, and they're going to whistle Coach Bushman out to look at his injured player. We're going to actually take a minute here. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there, and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
We're back to Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. We didn't get a number of the injured player in our Summit Healthcare injury report, but it looked like an ankle or hopefully not a knee. But we're going to try to get an update on that. It didn't look like it looked like it could have been a twist on a knee, maybe got caught in the court. But we're back in action as Jesmer, actually that's Neal, is going to pass out the ball. 3-point shot off the mark, rebounded by the Wildcats, and that is number 1, Amber Neal, putting it back for 2. And Joe City extending its lead 15-9, 6 points. And Reggie, we're in the second quarter here, and I think in the first half, all points are precious because there's a mindset going into the second half that you kind of want to have, and every point's precious, and the more you can pour on your opponent, the more pressure it puts on and makes it just a little bit easier.
Yeah, and also we're getting to the last day of the tournament, so people are getting tired. So if you can get as many points as possible in the first half, that's always a benefit because by the second half in a tournament, most of the time, legs are tired, shots are off.
Well,
if you're in really good shape already, especially basketball shape, then you could play a full tournament. But a lot of these girls,
this could be the winner of this game plays a third game today.
Yeah, that's a lot of basketball, but.
Paxton off her mark and is going to hit the second one and bring the lead to only 5 for her team as there's a long court pass looking for Jesmer. Jesmer no good as it fouls off, and it's going to end up in the Yellow Jackets' hands. As I look at the Safford Bulldogs, the boys team. The girls team isn't here, but the boys team. The boys team played Wednesday night in Snowflake. So that was Wednesday.
And they beat them.
They did beat them. They did beat them. It was a very physical, but they found a way to come out victorious at the end of that one. And then Thursday they came up here and played 2 games, and then they played their games yesterday. And I believe they're done and might be headed home. My point being is that they left Safford probably 9 or 10 in the morning to come to Snowflake on Wednesday. So those Safford boys haven't even seen their house since early Wednesday morning when they went to school. And you think about the physical toll that takes, and also coming up from the Gila Valley where it's, well, who knows, 2,100 feet, we'll say, up to close to 7,000. I'm guessing, pretty tired. Now, these two teams here play up at altitude, so it's not much of a factor, but I think you're right about this tournament is everything, the physicality, and that's why I think you have such a separation of teams going forward.
Yeah, it's also really good for the tournament up high in altitude. Wrestling teams do it, football teams do it for their football camps, and that living up here has its advantages. And it's such a beautiful place as well. So
it's absolutely, and that's when I think about we're going to get us a backcourt violation, and that's going to now belong to the Yellow Jackets. I know it's weather is the main factor. You think about all these football teams that come up and frequent Pine Top, Lakeside, Show Low, Snowflake, even Winslow, and here in Round Valley, and come up at altitude. There's an advantage to it. And you mentioned wrestling. Speaking of that, I'm looking for an update from the Witt Duels over at Show Low. Show Low High School hosting a big wrestling tournament, the Witt Duels that they've hosted for a few years. And last I heard, there was some great competition going on. A lot of teams coming up, taking part in that. 17-11 here with 2:44 left in the second quarter. As number 0, Miley Hamblin. That's the one Reggie talked about earlier. Is there anything more specific you want to tell us about Miley?
She's just she hustles a lot, never complains. I think she always tries to listen the best that she can and do what she's supposed to.
What you want in an athlete.
For sure.
And again, these ladies are not afraid. Oh, and there's Hamblin up. We just talked about her. And the rebound bounces, lays around, and Mr. Chavez is going to say, nope, that went out on the Wildcats. That is going to belong to the Yellow Jackets. So, Reggie, something else I noticed here, and maybe you can shed some, I don't think it's a bad thing, but Court 1 used to be over by the Dome, and they moved court 1 over here. And my understanding is this is where the Elks are playing their boys and girls as Hamlin shoots. Toes are on the line, so it's only going to be a 2, but it's off the mark regardless. So she's going to get the ball back. That's going to be a turnover for the Wildcats. Knocked out. Is there a reason they moved court 1 back over here as the main court for the season? Are they going to do some changes?
No, I think they're going to leave this for the season. This is the first year they're doing it. It might just be trying it out, but I don't know the full reason behind it.
Does it fill up pretty good for home games?
Yeah. There's plenty of bleachers everywhere, and it's really good for, you don't have any fans in the back behind the teams. As a player, that's always kind of intimidating sometimes with a whole bunch of fans right behind you. And now here, you're as a coach, you can worry about just coaching your players and no one else coaching your players. But
as that ball's going to get knocked around,
and
that's going to end up going through the bucket for Jesmer. Gabrielle Jesmer with 2 points, 21-11. Joe City extends its lead to 10, and that's going to be a turnover on Blue Ridge, and Joe City's going to get the ball back. And that's one of the things you mentioned, too, is talking about people behind you and, a normal gym where you sit on a bench or you have chairs and there's people behind you. One thing I also noticed about here, and you may shed some light on this as an official, especially a basketball official, is I don't hear the crowd as much in this deep dome on this side as I did on the other side. I feel like when the fans are less than excited about a coach's or an official's decision, it kind of just floats up in the air and I'm not hearing it as much.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't been – I don't know – I'm not sure how many home games they've had this year, but I've only been to one for Round Valley, and it was pretty full, and it wasn't super packed. But it wasn't super loud. But that's something that I'll definitely pay attention to more as I come to more home games living here.
Do they put the students behind the basket like they do in other schools in the area? Because I think it's fantastic to have students behind the basket in the second half. You see it in the college game as bounced around, ends up in Blue Ridge, and again we have another turnover. And that's going to be a foul, and that's going to be on 15, and that's more importantly going to be Blue Ridge's 4th team foul with a minute 32, which could give Joe City potentially some free throws as we're moving into the end of this game, and they're doing their best to keep these games on point and on task so we can start that 3 o'clock game and that girls championship at 4:30.
That's one thing that I've noticed with basketball early on. You get to the penalties so quickly, and every foul is so precious because you can't, if you just make a ticky-tack foul, well, that's one more closer to 5 instead of 7.
Well, last game, Holbrook, and let me see who it was because I have it written down here as we've got back and forth with Joe City.
Almost was an injury.
I believe that was, actually I'm not sure. I think it was Alina Yazi fouled out with about she was a minute into the fourth quarter, and Holbrook just struggled without her in there after that. Is 31 for the Wildcats. That's Rayleigh Fish is going to check in. The ball is, however, going to belong to the Yellow Jackets, as Yellow Jackets the designated home team, Joe City the designated visiting team. As I'm Aaron Hewish, I'm joined by Reggie Peterson. We have Mel West as our production manager in the truck doing a fantastic job. If only you folks listening at home knew. We have Lizzie and Robin on the cameras doing a great job bringing you this round ball tournament.
I think Ashlyn Smith was fouled on that play. Ashlyn Smith is another good athlete. I think she plays volleyball and also does track. She throws discus, I'm pretty sure.
3-sport athletes.
Yeah.
Lots of just kind of knocking the ball around as Blue Ridge, as Paxson is going to bring it in. And she's going to bring it to Paxson. And that's what I said earlier about these small towns. It's fun to see sisters and brothers and cousins and nephews, and heck, even in Snowflake, you might get an aunt and a niece on the same team. In Round Valley too, and in St. John's, let's be honest. And in Joe City, and in Heber. But we love our mountain communities, the close-knit mountain communities, and these broadcasts and supporting our youth is fantastic. We don't get to call a lot of Joe City Wildcat games, but it's nice to have them on our broadcasts, and appreciate you folks in Choya country. I mean that as a pun intended, tuning in to watch your Wildcats this afternoon. Joe City holding on to a 10-point lead oh my goodness, that's a Comfort Fit Dentures 3-pointer.
That might be a lucky, but She's got a good shot.
Gabrielle Jesmer with a three-point shot. That's going to take us to halftime with the Joe City Wildcats 24 and the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets 11. This is Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Want to go fishing? Head to Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. They have fishing supplies, outdoor fishing attire, and fishing gear. Plus all kinds of bait including live worms, flies, and lures. The staff are experienced anglers and they can advise you on what you need, where to go, and what type of bait the fish are biting on. Plus, pick up your fishing, camping, and boat permits. When you think fishing, think Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. Located on Highway 260, 1 mile before the casino.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Show Low Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Show Low Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Show Low Ford has the best deal. Show Low Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at showlowford.com.
Winning takes focus, preparation, and support. Keep focused on your dream career while saving thousands in tuition costs at Northland Pioneer College. We're here to support your goals and see you succeed. Visit npc.edu to see our programs. An academic advisor will get you on the right path to achieve your educational goals. Northland Pioneer College, expanding minds, transforming lives.
Hi everybody, it's Colleen here at Horn Auto Center, the GMC Chevy store that saves you more. So today we're going to highlight our wonderful used car inventory. This one right here is a 2019 Chevy Blazer RS. With our special, you can come down and take advantage of our $31,418. Right underneath 40,000 miles. You can't beat it.
Hi everybody, check out this beautiful 2021 Toyota 4Runner 4x4, discounted right now to $40,321. Black leather seats, seat warmers, 3rd row, nice running boards, and oversized tires.
Check out this 2020 C8 Corvette with only 6,000 miles, certified pre-owned. You're gonna have an awesome ride, only here at Horn Auto Center.
So come on over to Horn Auto Center on the Deuce of Clubs in Show Low. We got the best selection of certified pre-owned vehicles and used vehicles to choose from, the best in the White Mountains.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Show Low Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Show Low Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Show Low Ford has the best deal. Show Low Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at showlowford.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
And they were worried about the debt still hanging over. Welcome back to Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. This is Honda Ski and Outdoor halftime show. And we had number 23 for the Wildcats. That's Gabrielle Jesmer. And, you know, she hit that 3 there to end the quarter. And I'm not sure that should have counted because I didn't hear her call glass. But that was nothing but a straight bank shot. Right, Reggie?
Yeah, but it's better to be lucky than good most of the time.
Well, that was a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill. But can I do my math? 13-point lead for the Wildcats over the Yellow Jackets. And let's talk about this. What do the Wildcats, Reggie, what do the Wildcats keep doing, and what do the Yellow Jackets need to do in this second half?
I think it's just pressure, full court. I don't know if it's a full court press or a half court press, but they're pressing and they're getting turnovers. Joe City's getting the turnovers and then making easy layups, and that's how they've gotten this lead. So Joe City just needs, Blue Ridge needs to be more patient. Maybe leave two girls in the backfield and slowly bring up the ball. You got 10 seconds, so use 9.5 of it. But
fair enough.
And Joe City's doing a good job of cutting off the middle pass. Every single team wants to get the ball to the middle when they're trying to break a press, and Joe City knows that. Everyone knows that, and they're stopping that from happening for Blue Ridge.
Well, one of the things I've noticed about Joe City is you talked about the press in the middle, which I think is obviously the best strategy, but it seems like what Joe City is trying to do on defense is they're pulling everybody into the middle, and they're taking away anything quick, any quick cuts inside that lane, and they're telling Blue Ridge, you're going to have to beat us from the outside, which I think is quite a strategy that I've seen in this tournament, especially on the girls' side. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, once again, going back to the beginning of the season, you learn a lot in your first 10 games playing basketball as a high school kid. And you learn a lot, and your coach kind of sees what you can do, what you can't do. And so I'm sure Blue Ridge is going to get a lot better at breaking this press. Hopefully they come out in the second half with a way to defeat it.
Well, as far as I understand, small school Arizona girls basketball, you have to be able to break that press, because when you play the Monuments, the Alchaces, the Pimas, even the Window Rocks and the Chinleys some years, the Sholo this year, you have to be able to break that press. And if you can break that press and get those open looks on the end of it, that's a good thing. But if you can't break that press, you might as well, just pack up your bags and go home.
Yeah, you have. That's probably got to be, I'd say, about 40% of your practice. Not every day, but throughout the week, you have to work on breaking the press, and just sticking to and do it fundamentally. I mean, you fake passes, dribble a couple times, throw it to the middle, fake pass. Make their speed bad for them. Okay, back cuts, things like that. You got to look for those all the time to break a press.
Well, and on the flip side, the teams that break it, like I said earlier, get those wide open looks, and if not only if you break that press, but two, you get that easy layup. And if you're able to break that press and get that easy layup, then you have that momentum. You almost set yourself up into a press going down the backside. And anyway, I think that is a huge key for any team, but specifically in this game, like you mentioned. So, folks, we're going to take 2 more minutes, and we're going to come back, and we're going to bring you the second half. This is the Honda Ski and Outdoor halftime show. And this is Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
When you think glass, think Deemer's Glass in Lakeside. Deemer's Glass offers the best selection of quality glass with affordable prices. They do full home window packages, replacement windows, custom shower doors and enclosures, custom mirrors in many shapes, styles, and colors, glass doors and hardware, commercial glass for buildings and offices, skylights, screens, fire-rated glass for your fireplace or stove, window film, and more. Visit Deemer's Glass today on Porter Mountain Road in Lakeside or call 1-888-GLASSMAN.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint now has 3 locations to serve you. Snowflake, Lakeside, and now Sholo. And with over 85 years combined experience in auto glass and over 40 years of combined experience in window tint, you can trust the experts at Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint with your vehicle. Call them today.
Just call 536-5972. Mountain Mobile Auto Glass, cash back to you.
You've been there, waiting forever at the gas station for the guy to free up so he can fill up your propane tank. Or worse, when the only qualified propane technician decided to stay home that day. Yep, you've been there and I have too. That's why now I get my propane from Ace Hardware every time. You get Ace Hardware's world-famous customer service when you stop in for propane. That's right, you get in, you get out, and you get a great deal on propane and everything else. From Ace Hardware at their locations in Pine Top and Heber. Ace Hardware is proud to support White Mountain Sports.
Welcome back to Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. This is our Northland Pioneer College tip-off. Of course, the tip-off to start the quarters and the half is going to be the alternating possession, which is going to belong to the Joe City Wildcats. Joe City Wildcats going with their starters of the game as Jesmer is in there, had that beautiful shot to end the quarter. That's going to be rebounded by Neal, and it's going to bounce off, and Blue Ridge is going to need every possession, I believe, to take this as Joe City tries to press. That's going to be bounced around in the hands of number 10, and that is Neal. Neal cross court to Neal, and that's going to be a foul whistled on number 35, Brooklyn Paxson.
That's what we just talked about at halftime, is she got trapped in that corner when there was no pump fake. Got to give a little pump fake to a different direction, then throw it to the person that's open.
Well, you know, I've noticed most of these coaches have cameras, Reggie, so I think that they're filming, and this is, you can never underestimate how valuable film is in the game, period, but in the high school game especially. You know, we have all this technology and showing on film like, well, I don't think I did that, coach, but in reality they did. There's a long three-point shot there by Jesmer, and it's going to be rebounded by Neal and going to end up in the hands of Jesmer back at the top of the court.
Joe City is super, super long and tall.
I kind of noticed that earlier.
That's really given Blue Ridge a struggle. Someone just got rolled up on, 23.
Oh, no, that's going to be.
Her knee.
Oh, that's a knee, and that's number
23.
That's number 23, and that is Gabrielle Jesmer.
We're
gonna take a Summit injury timeout here, and this is Sholo Ford's presentation. Oh, she's up and going. We won't take that break. She's walking off under her own power, which is good to see. That's gonna allow Rayleigh Fish to check in the ball game. But that's who was it, Reggie?
That's a big three. That's a big hurt.
Was it 23?
23.
Yeah, that's Jesmer, and that was definitely a shooter that's out of the game. She has about 8-9 points in this game, so a good third of these Joe City points as Joe City's going to do everything they can to press. Smith coming to the middle, but Smith is going to be fouled by Fish, and that's going to be on her. And when you can't do that, you can't make that cut and take the ball away like that. They're a little too physical for.
Yeah, if number 11 can just take a couple dribbles to spread that defense out instead of going to the middle so quickly, I think they'll be okay. But
number 11, Lilani Hamblin. And her and the other Hamblin, Miley, seem to be handling most of the ball handling duties. As there's that outside shot for Blue Ridge. If they can hit that 10 to 12 footer on that perimeter, especially in those, what do you call that outside, Reggie? The post, but out a little bit farther.
The wing.
There you go. You heard it first here on iTalk. The wing. You can hit those jumpers and. Joe City's not going to give you anything inside. If you can hit those jumpers, you have a chance to come back because there's Smith going to go.
Nice
and that's just what I talked about wasn't going to happen. And there's nice little putback by Ashlyn Smith.
Oh, no.
As Hamlin's going to take
nice
it away.
Pass.
And
there's that length of Joe City to stop that open layup.
So we have a turnover by Blue Ridge and then a turnover by Joe City. No points gathered in by either team. As Jesmer is going to go, and that's going to go into 31. Fish, and Fish is going to have it knocked away. Rebound ends up in the hands of Paxson.
I think they're going
to need. There's Ashlyn Smith again. That was what I was just going to say. Is I think the more they get Smith involved, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you look at that one. That was made there by Paxson, but Ashlyn Smith came from the top of the key and boxed out and had position for that rebound, and that's just what it's going to be. As Blue Ridge has cut this lead to 9, which is huge right now, as 10 for that's Neal for Joe City is out, and that's going to allow Jesper to check back in the ball game. That's a good sign as we're going to get a little bit of a trip, and that's going to be Fish, and I believe that's going to be her second personal. Or is that going to be that's going to be her third personal with her second team, as Jesper's going to check back in for Audrey Neal.
I'm glad she's not hurt too bad.
I'm very glad to see that. That injuries I know are part of the game, but you just hate to see them in these young kids. Looks like this half that they're letting Paxson do a lot of the ball handling duties, and I wonder if it's not because they're going to have her shoot and cut, or pass and cut, but she puts up a three-pointer that's no good there, and that's going to belong to the Yellow Jackets. And
yeah, Joe City's really using that zone defense to benefit them with their length, and it's given them struggles.
Reggie, I understand the rules of basketball, but I don't understand a lot of the technique and coaching. What is this press called that Blue Ridge is looking to, they just caused a 10-second violation and turnover. What is the press that they're running? What is it called? What does it do? What do you know it as?
Well, I haven't paid attention to it too much, but and I can pay attention a little more. But it's working. Most of the time it's just hustle. When you're full court pressing, if your girls understand the basics of what you're trying to do and hustle, then they usually get it.
And with that length of Joe City, like you had talked about, the impressive thing was that Blue Ridge is able to force a turnover on that. That's going to be Hamlin driving in. Hamlin's going to put it up. No good. But guess who's there? Ashlyn Smith. And, Ashlyn Smith is in a candidate right now. If Blue Ridge get back in the game for our Horn Auto Center drive of the half, because we can't necessarily call it a drive, but I've been very impressed with her in the middle, and she has absolutely shut down this Wildcat team in the middle as they've cut the lead to, maybe 7 or so, except that's going to be number 1. Neal put it up as we have Mackenzie Jesmer, ready to check in for the Joseph City Wildcats. As Paxton's going to have the ball, and that's going to be number 35.
Good shot.
That was other Paxton puts it up for 3, and that cuts it back to a 7-point lead for the Wildcats. As turnover forcing it in the hands of Smith. Smith going to pass it off and back right into the hands of the Joe City Wildcats. I thought right there we were going to get Ashlyn Smith can end up with the rebound.
You could see the tired coming in right now, so I would suspect there's going to be a timeout here pretty soon.
Well, I was waiting. I don't disagree with you at all. I was kind of hoping on that turnover that Smith came up with. I thought she was going to pass it off, and it looked like a pretty clean pass, and I thought she was going to go underneath. As there's Ashlyn Smith with another rebound. The miss was by Neal, as Audrey Neal is going to check in for the Wildcats.
Roll. Nice take.
Paxson up, and it is good. Not going to cut the lead. We're going to get a timeout by the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. We're going to take a minute timeout here as the Joe City Wildcats up on 27-22 on the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets. We'll see you in a bit.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Want to go fishing? Head to Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. They have fishing supplies, outdoor fishing attire, and fishing gear. Plus all kinds of bait including live worms, flies, and lures. The staff are experienced anglers and they can advise you on what you need, where to go, and what type of bait the fish are biting on. Plus, pick up your fishing, camping, and boat permits. When you think fishing, think Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. Located on Highway 260, 1 mile before the casino.
Welcome back to Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com as the Blue Ridge took a momentum timeout, a breather timeout, as they're down. They've cut the lead to a 5-point lead, 27-22 with just under halfway through this third quarter.
Yeah, I don't even know if they subbed anybody in either. So
I don't think they did either. I think it was strictly, and they're going to run that press. and doing everything they can, but that's what you can't have in that press is you can't have those easy buckets. As we're going to get a foul on 33, and that's going to be Neal, as she's going to foul Smith, and that's going to be her third personal as well as the third team foul, and she's looking like she might have took a inadvertent elbow to the chest, and that's going to cause Fish to check in for her as she's going to catch her breath a little bit. And it looks like we're going to be Blue Ridge against Camp Verde for the 3 o'clock matchup. As let me make sure. Joseph City against Camp Verde. That's what I was trying to say. Joseph City against Camp Verde, and that'll be the boys' consolation champion. As Blue Ridge off the mark, and it's not going to hit the rim, so it's technically going to be labeled a turnover.
But they broke the press pretty easily that time, Blue Ridge did.
And I think if Joe City can break that press and get those easy buckets that we talked about, but there's another turnover, and that's going to be ahead to Hamblin. Hamblin going to go, and Hamlin's going to put it in for an easy two and chips away at that lead even more. Blue Ridge doing a great job of that, and the winner of this will play almost an hour and a half after this game ends. As there's Hamlin again. Hamlin up for no, not a quick two, but there's a putback. No. Rebound is by... That's Red.
Bumped out of bounds.
And bumped out of bounds and going to belong to the Wildcats. 27-24, 2:35 left here in the third quarter. As Blue Ridge going to do this press.
Good trap right
and
here.
Great trap in the corner as that's going to leave a wide open layup. And nothing happening. And we're going to get a foul called on the Yellow Jackets. And that's going to be number 13. That's Lexi Red.
We still have another quarter of this. This is a good game.
This is a very good game. This is what makes this job a little bit easier sometimes is when you do have good games is we'll get ready for that Joe City Camp Verde matchup. Camp Verde coming us from the 2A conference, Joe City the 1A conference. But, Reggie, talk about that a little bit. 1A, 2A, 3A. There's really no 4A teams that come to this. Does it even really matter in these early season tournaments? Or it's all about your boys and my boys, your girls, and we're just going to play ball?
It's hard. Like usually for basketball, you need two good athletes to make it a good team, a competitive team. And then if you can get 3 other guys or 4 other guys to buy in to what you're trying to do as a coach, then things usually work. So you don't need a ton of guys, but you just need them to buy in. But you could see the smaller schools struggle a little bit against the bigger schools. But if you have a smaller school that completely buys into the coach's process of coaching and doing what he does or she does, then usually you have a good chance of beating anybody, 1A, 2A, 3A, I think.
It's kind of what we've seen with the Pima Rough Riders is they go down in that Gila Valley and they face Thatcher and who at the time was a 2A school like them, but Safford and Morenci and Fort Thomas. And it doesn't matter if you're 1A, 2A, 3A, but you are picking from a large to a smaller population. Blue Ridge probably has 500 to 600 students. Joe City probably has 100 to 200, and Joe City obviously in the lead right now. So it's about your coach, your buy-in, and just kind of what they give you on the doorstep of the high school. We can talk about recruiting and doing all that stuff all we want, but it doesn't happen up here like. Ooh. And that's going to be number 10 for the Wildcats, and that's going to be Neal whistled for a foul, and that's going to be the 5th personal foul. And I believe we're going to be shooting too, so that's going to make the third quarter not seem as short as it was setting itself up to be, as we're going to have the Joe City Wildcats boys against the Camp Verde Cowboys boys here next, 3 o'clock game here in the Dome, and that's the boys. I was going to say consolidation championship, but it's consolation. I don't know about the consolidation championship. That must be the third place game.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a timeout. We're going to take 1 minute here. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
At Summit Healthcare, you'll find a level of care you might not expect from a rural hospital. We recently received 5 stars from CMS, a prestigious ranking that less than 5% of facilities in Arizona earned. Our cancer center has proven its level of advanced care with a national accreditation from the Commission on Cancer. And we continue to add more doctors and services so that you don't have to leave the mountain to find the care you need. At Summit Healthcare, we're elevating care here at home.
Welcome back to Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com, as we're going to have number 10 for the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, and that's going to be Anaya Paxson shoot the second end of her free throws. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have the Joseph City Wildcats, and I love that because you folks listening over in the land known as Joseph City, she makes her second free throw, are going to get a chance to listen to your Wildcats twice. We try to cover everybody, but the Wildcats just a hair out of the range of covering, so we're really glad to be bringing them to you live here in this tournament, as that was a nice cut and basket by Mackenzie Jesmer.
We've seen just these last 2 possessions, both teams break the press pretty easily, which is it's cool to see their progress throughout this game.
As Hamblin's going to end up with it on the far side, Hamlin throwing it over to other Hamlin. These Hamlins just need a good look at the basket, as well as I think if you give Neal a good look at the basket, or number 35. I didn't mean. I meant Paxson and Paxson. If you get them a good look at that 3-point shot, as Hamlin's going to drive in, 10-foot jumper, no good. Rebound knocked off. It's going to end up back at the Yellow Jackets, and that's going to be number 10, and that's Paxman with the miss. Rebound Jackets, and that's going to be a long court pass to Jesmer. Jesmer, easy layup, and that's good for 2. That puts them over 30, 31-25 here at the end of the third quarter with 20 seconds left. Blue Ridge not going to go away anytime soon. A good quarter, and that's Hamlin to bring up. Hamlin off the mark, rebounded, back up, no good. Ashlyn Smith just a hair out of the position to put that basket back here in this end.
Let's see if we can get another buzzer beater right here.
No, that one's going to be off the mark, and that's going to fall short. That's the end of the third quarter. 31-25 as we're going to take a minute here and bring you back fourth quarter action to this great basketball game on iTalk 106.7. This is Shola Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
This is Shola.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Sholo Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Sholo Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Sholo Ford has the best deal. Sholo Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at sholoford.com.
Winning takes focus, preparation, and support. Keep focus on your dream career while saving thousands in tuition costs at Northland Pioneer College. We're here to support your goals and see you succeed. Visit npc.edu to see our programs. An academic advisor will get you on the right path to achieve your educational goals. Northland Pioneer College, expanding minds, transforming lives.
Welcome back to Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com. We're going to hit fourth quarter action of the chance to play in the third place game between the Joseph City Wildcats and the Blue Ridge Yellow Jackets, as Hamblin handling the ball on the near side. I'm Aaron Hewish. I'm joined by Reggie Peterson, Mel, Lizzie, and Robin taking care of the technical stuff, really doing the job of, getting this thing on the air. We'd like to thank our sponsors and what they do and how they're bringing these games to you possible. Joe City 31-25. I'm Aaron Hewish. I'm joined by Reggie Peterson. We appreciate Reggie taking time out of his day to come help us. Reggie, an AIA basketball official who suffered an unfortunate Achilles injury, who's now going to be having surgery and recovering, but I'm guessing we're going to see him on the sidelines for the Round Valley Elks next fall, and we're going to see him as that's going to be 23, and that's going to be Jesmer put it back. We're going to see Reggie in the stripes in basketball season next year, so we wish him the best of luck.
For sure. I love basketball. It's so fun to, there you go, 10 seconds. Having struggles with the press again.
I think
we're getting a timeout by Blue Ridge.
We're going to have a timeout very shortly into the fourth quarter here. We're going to take a minute. This is Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Hi everybody, it's Colleen here at Horn Auto Center, the GMC Chevy store that saves you more. So today we're going to highlight our wonderful used car inventory. This one right here is a 2019 Chevy Blazer RS. With our special, you can come down and take advantage of our $31,418. Right underneath 40,000 miles. You can't beat it.
Hi everybody, check out this beautiful 2021 Toyota 4Runner 4x4, discounted right now to $40,321. Black leather seats, seat warmers, third row, nice running boards, and oversized tires.
Check out this 2020 C8 Corvette with only 6,000 miles, certified pre-owned. You're gonna have an awesome ride, only here at Horn Auto Center.
So come on over to Horn Auto Center on the Deuce of Clubs in Show Low. We got the best selection of certified pre-owned vehicles and used vehicles to choose from, the best in the White Mountains.
Welcome back to Show Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com, and we're very early into the fourth quarter. Blue Ridge calls the timeout. I think they're going to use every bit of timeout they're given, and there's nothing wrong with that. Blue Ridge down 33-25 to the Joseph City Wildcats. 7 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. 33-25. Don't go anywhere. We're set to bring you consolation boys game bracket. Is Ashlyn Smith with the rebound there. And Ashlyn Smith may not have the points, but she sure is doing a lot of the dishing and getting the ball off as Hamlin's going to fumble it. She's going to get her own rebound, but she's going to be in the trap. And there's going to be three of her in the corner trapping her. And Jesmer is going to be whistled with the foul.
Yeah, these two Hamlin girls, they do just about all the ball handling, and they are quick.
And they are the shortest ones on the court, Reggie, as I look out there.
They're also causing the most havoc on defense, and it's, like I said, they're really fun to watch.
As Hamblin is going to go over to, that is Paxson. And Red's going to put it up, no good.
Good patience coming up the floor.
I think does Joe City have the ability to go into a stall type situation, or is Blue Ridge going to be too aggressive?
Well, with their length, you should be able to, but I mean, there's still 6 minutes left, so I wouldn't be surprised if Joe City still attacks a little bit. But good little fake.
And again, we're going to get us a travel right here, so that's going to be, I guess that technically goes as a turnover because there was a rebound, but basically Joe City keeps it on their side of the court under their own basket. Reggie, this game seems more physical underneath than I've seen a lot of the girls' games. A lot of the girls' games seem to turn out really finesse, but this one is absolutely being physical. And whose advantage is that playing into, and why?
Well, I think it's switched throughout the game. It's all depending on the players, but
we're gonna have a technical foul on 13 White.
Oh wow, got a technical foul coming up. Joe City gets to shoot some free throws.
So we're gonna. That's going to be a technical whistled on Red. Was that a foul on her and a technical foul on her? So she's going to get two personals.
Yep.
So that's going to be a very hard situation because that goes against the team fouls. So that's going to allow Jesmer to go to the line and shoot a couple. And was there already a shooting foul involved? So this could be bad for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, she missed the first one.
She missed the first one, but that's still going to go out of bounds.
Missed the second one. So they're still within 8 points. You got 6 minutes left in the ball game, so Blue Ridge needs to find their groove again to get back into this game.
And the team fouls is going to play a little bit of a factor here because Joe City's already, which could cause Blue Ridge to shoot. But Reggie, I don't want to harp on it, but I want to go back to the team fouls as Jasmine's going to shoot a three. Is now it seems at the end of a game and you're at that 7th foul, you don't have that chance to foul on that 1-and-1. And that was a nice, I'm going to call that a floater.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
By Paxson, and that gets us back in the game, is that trying to get the game back, you don't have that advantage to foul and have them miss that front end of a 1-and-1. So that's going to make coaching a little more difficult in the end of games.
And coaches, it'll take a while for coaches to figure that out. Another open layup. Oh, missed. I'll tell you one thing, this Joe City coach, his voice is not there anymore. He's been trying to coach these girls, but I don't know if they can hear him.
I've known Coach Bushman through my officiating for a while, and he's not an overbearing coach, but he does have a voice that carries, and I can see after a tournament like this, the frustration, him losing a little bit, but the man does a fantastic job with these Wildcats, and they seem to respond. I've kind of watched these Wildcats through a few years because my daughter playing basketball, playing them in junior high and a little bit in high school. I've seen them, and this is a very good Joe City squad right here. They could definitely do well at the state level when they get there, as that's Jasmine up, and she's going to be off the mark just barely, and that's going to be rebounded by Hamlin. Hamlin to Hamlin. Oh, that length of Joe City we talked about. What are we going to get here?
Push on number 0.
Oh, it's going to be a push on Hamlin. That's going to go to the Wildcats getting the ball back.
I would suspect that Blue Ridge goes into a man defense right here. I don't know if to go against the stall in a zone is pretty difficult, so we're getting a timeout.
That's going to be a timeout. We're going to take a minute here. This is Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
Who sells the #1 truck in America? Show Low Ford. That's right. Not only do they sell it, Show Low Ford is the best place to buy it. Why? Guy Hatch guarantees it. In fact, he guarantees you'll get the best deal on your next Ford car, van, or SUV as well. It doesn't matter what you buy. Show Low Ford has the best deal. Show Low Ford on the east end of the Deuce and at showlowford.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arno. I might not be comfortable on the basketball court, but I promise, at Comfort Fit Dentures, you'll feel comfortable. Always.
Comfort Fit Dentures has dentures starting at $499 with payment plans, and they have 2 labs, meaning you get your dentures in days instead of weeks. Call Comfort Fit Dentures today to schedule a free exam and x-ray. 928-888-0002. 928-888-0002.
Back with Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball as the Joe City Wildcats had a steal, get an easy 2 to go up by 8, and then they do the exact same thing again as what Mr. Reggie talked about, Mr. Peterson talked about Blue Ridge shifting into a man, but paying so much attention to that man that they weren't able to get in that press, as that's going to leave an easy bucket for Smith, except Smith is going to be whistled for an offensive foul, and that's going to belong to the Wildcats, up 10, and we're just under halfway left to play in this, the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I think once Joe City saw that they were in man defense, they attacked a lot more, and Joe City got 2 quick layups.
Well, Blue Ridge is going to press, and they're going to force Joe City into those corners, and that's going to be knocked away. That's by Red, going to be knocked away, and that ball is going to belong to the Wildcats. As, again, don't go anywhere, especially you people out there from Joe City, is we're going to get an offensive foul, and that's going to go against the team foul total, but we do not shoot those player control fouls, so that's just going to go against team fouls, which, heaven knows, we're just under 4 minutes here. That could play a factor. I think, Reggie, are we at the point where Blue Ridge is going to start having to rely on the 3 to get back in this game? Because they're absolutely capable of shooting it.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that, but they don't have to. I mean, they still got time. They still got time to get some layups.
And we're going to have us another timeout. I think every timeout is going to be used on the floor. We're going to go ahead and keep it here, folks. Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball. We're going to get a chance to look at the tournament bracket coming up here as we're getting set to bring to you the Joseph City Wildcats boys against the Camp Verde boys. And that's going to be your consolation bracket championship. After that, the 4:30 game, we are going to have Alchese versus Pima in a girls game. And that is going to be for the championship of this tournament. And I'm telling you what, I think if you looked at the last 2 years or 3 years, if you were going to have a matchup of programs, it would be those two teams matching up in the finals of a girls' tournament. Alchese and Jocelyn Nosey has been absolutely dominant, beating Sholo last year for the 3A championship, although the Sholo Cougars are absolutely terrorizing people right now. They're 13-0, I believe, and show no signs of letting up. And what's looking to be a tough conference, except, well, I don't think Alchese plays in the East. They're going back to the East, but you've got Alchese and Sholo as some of those teams. But we're excited to bring you a Pima program that's been very good the past few years, as Joe City's going to inbound the ball and holding on to a 10-point lead as they're going to bring it. And there's the trap that Reggie talked about. That's going to be a steal by Paxman. Going to be given right back to the Wildcats. We're going to have a 3-on-1 break. Paxman, over to Fish, and that's going to be knocked away. Fish going to have it knocked away. Rebound is by Paxson. That's going to be given to the other Paxson. No, we're going to have a ball in the court, and 35, that's the other Paxson, is going to be. But I think that brings us to team foul of 5, and that's going to allow Paxson to shoot 2. And this is a chance for Blue Ridge to get back in this game as Neal getting ready to check in for the Joseph City Wildcats.
Yeah, you're still only down by 10, so if you get some steals in your full court press and get 2 layups, and you got to make your free throws, though. That's
I think, Reggie, one of the things you alluded to earlier is that this Blue Ridge press lends itself to those open layups, and if they can make 1 or 2 of those, that's going to do very well for them.
Yeah.
Paxman lining up, shoot the second one. 3:20 left. We're
got a second
getting
shot.
really close.
Smith got a rebound and put it back up.
Probably going to be a little bit over that 4 or 3 o'clock mark for this next game.
Some dangerous passes by Joe City. Just keep your patience. Keep your patience. Here's another 2 free throws. This could be good, though. It's not a terrible thing to foul, depending on if she makes these.
You know, Reggie, there's one of the teams. I said, I don't see the Camp Verde Wildcats. I didn't see Joe City, but Joe City's over there supporting their girls, as that's going to be Neal with the miss, up 8 points. And I think at this stage of the game, Blue Ridge has to do almost everything correctly to make this work, and that includes bringing the ball up, as Joe City's going to provide pressure. But Paxson, no problem. As Paxson looking in the middle, and she's trapped and going to get a turnover out in front to Amber Neal. Amber Neal against Smith. Neal up, and that was a beautiful layup. Smith did everything she possibly could, was in the right spot, positioned herself, and Neal was still able to go up, and that's going to be kicked away again. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left as we close down the end of this basketball game. As there's a nice cut by number 10, and that's Audrey Neal. We have 3 Neals on the team, and Reggie, I think most of them might be out on the court right now.
That's the hard part about going to man at the end of the game, is those back cuts usually are open when they first initially go to man defense.
And there's a little bit of a miss by Ashlyn Smith. Ashlyn Smith done a great job of being in the middle for Blue Ridge, negating a little bit of the advantage of the height of Joe City. Joe City going to move on in this tournament, looks like right now. We're going to go ahead, as they're up 15, we're going to go ahead and start with and that's going to be a backcourt. Oh my goodness. Reggie, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our Honda Ski and Outdoor post-game show, so we can go, because they're not going to give them much time to go. 15-point lead. I've seen stranger things happen, but right now it looks like Joe City's going to move on and play in that third-place game. So first thing we need to look at in our Honda Ski and Outdoor is our Deemer's Glass man of the game. And you have a thought on who you could give that to either way?
Oh, Smith has probably been the biggest one for
I agree
in putting them back up.
In another bit of a losing effort, and I don't like to use that word. I think that's ultimately who it's going to be, is Ashlyn Smith, because she's done a great job. But I think noted in a winning effort is number 23 for the Wildcats, Gabrielle Jesmer. And Jesmer has been all over the court. She's been all over rebounds. We saw her have what we thought could be a pretty significant knee injury, and she hasn't skipped a beat. And there she goes, and goes down missing a layup. And so I think we got to go with either Ashlyn or Gabrielle as our glass woman of the game. And I think we're going to make an executive decision, and we're going to split that because both Reggie and I think, feel pretty strongly about our kicks. So our Glass Women of the game is going to go to Ashlyn Smith as well as Gabrielle Jesmer. Now, Reggie, we got our drive of the game. Now, I don't know, I put you on the spot a little bit here, but what would you consider our drive of the game? Because I think the little exchange we had at the beginning of the fourth quarter where Joe City went on a little run, maybe not been one drive, but it sure gave them a lot of space.
Well, I think that one, but also this one by Joe City. They were with Blue Ridge was within 8 points, and now they're down by 13, and those extra points.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely have to agree with you. Is this little here, and you know, they're breaking that press and doing. We're gonna have I believe this is number 12, Tori Beatty, and number 14. Ooh, I'm not sure I could pronounce that. Sazira Scobie is going to check in the game for the Wildcats, and good to see them checking and getting some experience. And they're going to replace some of the more veteran players, but good to see them checking in for the game and getting a chance to play in this. And Joe City's going to move on. So I'm going to agree with Reggie that the drive of the half is going to have to be that little exchange there. And Joe City's going to move on to play. They're going to play on court 3 at 4:30 against the winner of St. John's and Round Valley that are playing on court 4 over in the gym right now. So that is your Honda Ski and Outdoor post-game show. But folks, just because it's the post-game show and we got a little bit of time left does not mean that we are going anywhere. We're going to take a little break, probably about 8 to 10 minutes between the games, and we're going to get ready to bring you this boys consolation championship, followed by the girls.
Yeah, this last little run by Joe City, there was 3 minutes left, and Blue Ridge was down by 8, coming back a little bit, but Joe City turned it up a little bit, made a few layups, got a few rebounds, and they kind of ran away with it at the very end.
Looks like start time is going to be about 3:05 or a little bit sooner, as Joe City looks like they're ready to go. And this is going to be an interesting game coming up because both these teams are pretty tired. That 4:30 girls game is going to be really interesting for third place. But congratulations to Joe City for moving on in the tournament. Congratulations to Blue Ridge for holding it together and playing a really hard 2 days and playing some good basketball. And I look to see some good things out of them in the 3A East this year, as the clock's going to tick down to its final seconds, as Hamblin still going to be absolutely aggressive. Blue Ridge going to play the defense they need to play. And we're going to get a timeout by Blue with up 15 with 19.1 seconds left. We're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it here because we're so close to ending this game, and it is a 30-second timeout, as Mr. Mike Hauser, the official, tells us 30 seconds left in the game. As any other final points, Reggie, as we're going to move on to this boys game? Anything that you've seen?
I think this Joe City team is going to be hard to beat. With their length and their height, the whole season, they're going to be good.
Well, and they come to tournaments like this to play bigger schools, but they also come to tournaments like this to see their preseason. But you also get that, and I noticed they saw that Fort Thomas team. But, Joe City's got a little bit of a reset in the clock. We're okay.
Getting ready. Clock.
It's okay. 19.1 seconds left. Blue Ridge still doing what they can. Still working on stuff. Yep. As we're going to get an offensive foul on number 12, Tori Beatty.
She extended that arm a little too far.
That was a little bit too much. And again, stay tuned here. We're going to bring you the next game as quick as possible. We'll get some production up and going. And wow, there's a nice little shot by Blue Ridge cutting the lead. And that's going to be okay. I'm Aaron Hewish. I'm thankful that Mr. Reggie Peterson made his way. The final here, from barring anything weird, is going to be Joe City 46, Blue Ridge 33. Congratulations to Joe City for moving on. And we look forward to seeing Blue Ridge, I'm sure, a couple more times moving forward in the 3A East and some of their non-conference games.
Here we go.
That was going to be a long missed by Paxson. As I'm Aaron Hughes, this is Reggie Peterson. It's a Show Low Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk1067.com.
This has been Sholo Ford's presentation of high school basketball on iTalk 1067 KNKI Pine Top and iTalk1067.com. Brought to you in part by Northland Pioneer College, Ace Hardware of the White Mountains, Deemer's Glass, Mountain Mobile Auto Glass and Tint, Comfort Fit Dentures, Summit Regional Medical Center, Horn Auto Center, and Honda Ski and Outdoor Sport. This broadcast has been a copyrighted production of iTalk 106.7 and Country Mountain Airwaves, a Kopaniki communications station. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of iTalk 106.7 or Country Mountain Airwaves is strictly prohibited. For more information on this game and other games around the region, go to iTalk1067.com.